What's up, guys? I'm back with another movie review. Today I'm here to talk about 12 Strong. So, the story of this movie is based on a true story. It's also based on a book called Horse Soldiers. And in the wake of 9/11, one of the first strikes we took back against Al Qaeda and the Taliban was to send over a small force over to Afghanistan. These were the first guys, boots on the ground in Afghanistan after 9/11. And they were basically tasked to assist an Afghan warlord to march through some strongholds, drive out the Taliban, overtake the strongholds, which was leading to a key city that if the Afghans were able to take it back from the Taliban, then that would kind of almost eradicate the Taliban in the northern region of Afghanistan. So it was a really crucial thing. It was under extreme time restraints because the winter was coming in, and this particular area was pretty much known as like the graveyard of the empires because it was attacked, and everybody tried to push through it. Nobody ever could. It always ended up, crushing people, especially if you weren't able to get your task done by wintertime, which in this case they were looking at a schedule of approximately 3 to 6 weeks to get there without being completely, demolished by the wintertime. But the movie tells us that in all actuality, military intelligence actually expected the process to take years. And so a very small band of people, 12 guys, are sent over there. They're going to assist the warlord. Once they get there, they realize that they're like severely outmanned, like thousands to one, outgunned. They're on horses. The Taliban has tanks, missile launchers, all this stuff, and they basically just have, the bare essentials of combat. So the odds are heavily stacked against these guys. They have to push forward. They're on a constant time schedule. And then you have the idea that even though they're there to assist this Afghan warlord, there's a communication barrier, there's a cultural barrier, there's just a lot going against this. And the movie just tells the story of what happens once they're there. This is a pretty good movie. I actually liked it a lot more than I thought I would. I'm not a fan of like and I'm not trying to be condescending because I know these are like true stories, but a lot of times the movies kind of paint these military situations in an overly glamorous light, and it turns into like hero worship where like just thousands of lives are being lost, but the movie doesn't really give us any like gravity to that loss. And 12 Strong does not fall into those pitfalls. It actually shows the horrors of war and how rough it is and the cost of these kind of battles. I will say that I wish the movie took more time to develop the characters, and I know they're based on real people and maybe they weren't super interesting people, but it's really hard to connect with them because so little time is taken. Even with the Chris Hemsworth character, the guy that's in the lead, like, it's just not, his character is just not that fleshed out. All we know about him is that he has no combat experience and he promised his wife he'd come home. Like, that's literally all we know about him. Michael Pena is in this as well. He gets a little bit of time, but honestly, the character we get to know more than anybody else is the Afghan warlord, and like, he's actually pretty well fleshed out. I wish all the characters, or at least a few of them, were given that on the American side, were given that kind of a treatment, but unfortunately they're not. So the movie really falls, in my opinion, on the action scenes. That's where the movie has to come through, and it does. It creates like a really like visceral, panicky, in the moment feel with the war scenes. There's a lot of tension because anything can happen. These guys are doing something that had never been done before. So there's like all these factors of the unknown going into it. And I think they captured like the chaos of, what was going on pretty well. Especially the like finale scene was really crazy. So again, I think it could have been a lot worse. I think it could have fallen into a bunch of cliches and a bunch of hero worship and like glamorized war, and it definitely doesn't do that. I mean, this is still an action movie, so it still plays up, rising up on the horse in the middle of the battle and that kind of stuff. But it's restrained a lot more than I thought it was going to be. So I actually think it was a pretty solid movie. I didn't like I said, I didn't love the cast. I don't think they were bad, but I don't think I can really like blame them for their performances because they weren't given a lot to work with here. I mean, they pretty much were told like just be generic soldiers, and that's what they did. So in the end, I liked it. If you like war movies, if you like war-themed action movies, I would give it a shot. I think it's definitely worth at least a watch if you're interested in that genre. If you want to read a full write-up of 12 Strong, you can do that at my website, markfusion.com. There's also hundreds and hundreds of other reviews there every single day, 7 days a week. Cover movies of all kinds. I'm also on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, Letterboxd now, and Patreon at markfusion. You can see what all I'm doing there. Probably the same stuff I'm doing here, just on a different website. But anyway, you can also drop me a sub if you like these videos. I would greatly appreciate that to help. It's a direct, free, easy way to help me to continue to make content. Thank you so much for watching this video. I greatly appreciate it. Hopefully I have some more up soon, and hopefully I'll see you later.